this cute little dragon girl. Not only did the fifth Princess Irene want to be her mother at first sight, it was even the moment when the two dragon couples saw her. I want to wipe her out on the spot. It's really intimate, and the little padded jacket has been in trouble since birth. But I can't say anything like that, even if it's risking your life for it. After all, I am now his guardian. He is also the father he trusts with all his heart. I didn't expect the malice that my daughter Nana felt for the first time. It turned out to be really from the same group. They may also be pregnant. But when he shouted to kill, he did not relent. It's just because of Nana's identity as a dragon hybrid. I've been confined to her room to raise her. Took her out for a walk for the first time today. For this purpose, I deliberately chose to be 10 kilometers away from the city of Ludi. Sparsely populated suburbs. He was very excited, flapping his little wings and flying around without stopping. Durium interjected at this point. You're now a qualified dad. Why don't you find her another mother? I saw that the little girl Irene before me was very happy. I immediately looked nervous. A strange aura was rapidly approaching us. In the next second, a huge impact swept over Nana's original location. Brian hurriedly took Nana in his arms, only to escape. A deep voice also came from the smoke. What a disgusting smell. The smoke cleared. It turned out to be 2 dragons. But unlike Nana's half-blood, these are 2 pure-blooded adult demon dragons. Nothing like the young dragon in the Lemia Valley. The breath of the high-ranking and the coercion of the dragon. It's just a matter of divergence. Nana was so scared that she trembled. Stand behind me. It's not good to look at them like this. Disgusting. The red dragon Catalina asked even more from above. How dare you take in such a half-breed bastard? You are its master, and you still have that demon blade in your hand. Kareem was stunned to hear himself being mentioned, and asked if he was talking about me. Shut up. Catalina immediately became furious. You inferior, inherited the power of the gods, but willingly to be a slave to men. The faces of the higher creatures have been disgraced by you. Kareem isn't a good guy either. Immediately replied, do you want to die? Seeing that the 2 of them were about to turn into martial arts and silver dragons in an instant, Lucian stopped a furious Catalina. Don't worry, I'm not interested in you guys. I also have no will to fight inferior creatures. But you have to give me that bastard. Half human, half dragon. It's great for some special experiments. So, I can let you go. Hear me off. Shut up. My toughness also made him make a momentary mistake. Looks like he's used to it. Alms from above and obedience from above. But at this time, he touched my scales. How could it be possible to hand over Nana to such a person? There is no need to negotiate. I repeat again. I said, shut up, you bastard lizard. He laughed angrily. The next second, he directly used the Thunderblade. A hurricane exploded right next to me. I dodged in a hurry, and motioned for Brian to take Nana out of here quickly. A ditch appeared where I had just stood. Amazing trick indeed. He used the thunder energy so skillfully. He also put away his thunder gun. The tone was still full of contempt. That's why I say you're inferior creatures. Dragons are inherently human, far from being able to compete. Over here, from the very beginning, I should have done my best. The 9th demon form manifests. The red dragon immediately noticed that something was wrong. Kind reminder to Lord Lucian. But he was only slightly surprised. It turned out to be an exiled force in the divine realm. Today is full of surprises. The demonic blade swung wildly. He scrambled to resist. I have a calm impact before I am gone. The thunder of the waves is extinguished. Countless thunder energies poured into his body. A 10-meter-long thunderbolt circle appeared above me. The bursting thunder elemental rages wildly. Do you enlarge the move at the beginning? Fog sword 3rd fog shadow, slide step. I flash behind his back again. Grab his cast gap. The fog sword rushes into the storm. Endless dark elemental surges. The blade of the spear slashed towards Lucian as if it were substance. But the next second, a sturdy fiery red barrier appeared behind Lucian. It turned out to be a red dragon. Katerina appeared just in time, blocked the fatal blow. I almost forgot that I was fighting two dragons. You are no match for him. Stand down. Lucian's concerns. But on the contrary, it inspired Catalina's competitiveness even more. Don't worry, I'll block his attack. This flame barrier contains 1,000 years of my mana. It can't be resolved at all. Mars' killing move was instantaneous again. See things in all directions. Thunder flashed down. The delicate aura and my fast-paced figure. Like a branch of the Grim Reaper. Smash everything in sight. A fire barrier he was proud of. Nothing in the face of the dark nature that I can destroy everything. Catalina's eyes lingered. Not at all. But the figure had already fallen from midair. The last murmur to Lucian didn't have time to be sent. He was dead. Everything is like lightning. It was only then that Lucian finally put away his arrogance. Start looking at your opponents again. Who are you, exactly? The dark gods have long been stripped of their powers. Why do you still have so much power? Tell me who you really are. But only indifference responded to him. I guess you won't answer either. I have to admit that you are a respectable opponent. But dragons are not something you can defeat. Shape-shifting spells murmured from his mouth. Endless thunder surrounded his body. She also began to grow in size. It's a spell that makes the dragons give up their human form. Return to the best battle dragon form. But this also means that dragons are the most vulnerable when transformed. On this sacred continent, there is an unwritten reason. It cannot be interrupted when transformed. But to hell with these unspoken rules. I am an assassin. It's not a noble knight with a vain head. Now is when he is at his most vulnerable. I leaped up. The dragon's long arm span. It's like a stairway to the sky. Lucian screamed in panic. What do you want to do? Doesn't he himself know the weakness of the metamorphosis? You inferior creature. I paid no more attention to his cries. Ascend the dragon to the heavens. I'm in a big place. Smash down the demon blade. Pierce the head of the demon dragons with the power of a falling star. Lu Shi's peace of mind finally began to panic. You have to get out of here right away. But it was too late. There is a kind of swordsmanship among the objects. Make the attack like the root of a tree. Divergent everywhere. The wound is only superficial, though. But the inner house will be torn apart. Perfect for dragon objects that can't be moved at this time. Giant tree roots. A terrible dragon howl resounded in the sky. Dragon's blood spilled like the sunset. Wait until Brian carries Nana to the falling dragonland. I've started the all-dragon feast. Eat it, Brian, if you want to get stronger. Nana's voice rang out before Brian. Nana wants it too. I immediately refused. Only you don't right. These precious dragon flesh will make people stronger, though. But cannibals know what strange soft viruses are going to be. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will be exciting. Go on. The eldest sister, who has been on a 2-year leave, has just returned. I can't wait to visit her brother, who cares about the most. In front of the principal, he was even more frank. I'm worried that my brother is too timid and shy. We'll be bullied at the academy. Hear this? The headmaster couldn't help but laugh. He doesn't bully people. I'm already thankful. When I heard the news, I hurried to the meeting. After all, in a previous life, this is the last time we will see each other. So I'm impressed. After that day, the situation on the entire continent is turbulent. Alice also died shortly after joining the Knights of Light. He really doesn't care what time it is. They still treat me like a child. But we met again after 3 years. I miss you so much. Elise, he has nothing but genuine love for me. There is no purpose and no ulterior motive. But my brothers and sisters are always thinking about me. There is also a big brother, Arshil. He just thought I was dying too slowly. as Kylan reported to him all the information she had found. Ahir groaned for a long time. So you're saying, is there an unknown force behind my brother? Kylan nodded. It's the informant sent before. Presumably, they killed it too. Akel again sought confirmation, but he was deeply thoughtful. The real focus is on Kylan at the moment. When Kylan leaves, that fear is gone. The attitude is calm like two people. Is he no longer worried about losing the trust of the Lord? Fear is Ahir's key to controlling people's hearts. At this moment, it was as if someone had robbed him of his most beloved toy. I've learned all of this. Now, Kylan, I have a question for you. What about Kylan, who is always with Asher? I don't know that I have aroused the suspicion of my master. Hurriedly bowed down and recited the oath. Seeing this, Ahir was relieved. Frankly, it's just a regular ritual. His trust in Kylan will always be the same. Wait until Kylan turns to leave. Cold sweat couldn't help but overflow the corners of his forehead. Ahir is suspicious and cold by nature. If he shows his feet here, it will hinder the little master's plan. You have to be more careful. When he pushed the door open, a girl with short hair was already standing outside the door. It turned out to be Emily, the maid of the young master. Why is she here? Before she could say anything, Asher had already invited Emily in. I called him. Your name is Emily, right? Can you do me a favor? Emily didn't know why. But hear the genius that everyone is after. Asher would take the initiative to lower his body. Please help yourself. I still can't help but think about it. Inside the Royal Academy, however, it was a different story. Princess Irene showed up in my dorm room with a large cake in her hand. One a special cake, made by the Royal Palace chef. Enjoy. Nana couldn't help but drool. Speak incoherently. Wow. Nana likes you. But Aaron only said it calmly. There are many more because Nina's joy comes too quickly. Nana crashed on the spot. I watched it all calmly. It looks like we do need to keep a low profile for a while too. If only the dragons could sense Nana's presence. Then the next ambush may also be launched again. But anyway, I have to make sure my own people are safe. After all, in this life, I have decided to live for myself. Especially that bastard brother. There must be something secretly planned again. Whatever his conspiracy is, I'm going to destroy him completely. Come to think of it, I couldn't help but smile. The scales of victory have begun to tilt. A fresh plan also jumped into my mind. And in the garden of the Duke's mansion, Asher also invited the first prince, Lunel. The two are also old. But when Asher privately addressed Lunel, he was no longer His Highness. Instead, he addressed His Majesty. Lunel even blamed Asher as soon as he came up. It's been rotten at home for too long, and I haven't come out to do things. Don't you worry that Alice will threaten your position? Or maybe his dear brother actually gained the favor of his father. I want to marry Aaron to her. That poor, useless garbage daughter has gained so much fatherly love. Just thinking about it made her jealous. Akel said calmly, "Wouldn't that be great? The more rights Aaron gets, the more you follow, the more useful it is for our plans." A political conspiracy against Irene. In the blink of an eye, it was finalized in a dinner. And at this time, Asher also noticed. The myopia of acupuncture turned out to be a new face. Lunel said playfully, "This guardian knight, Boris. But the treasures I unearthed from the slums." Just a glance. Asher saw similar qualities between the two. You found an amazing treasure. At this time, there was also a secret assembly somewhere on the mainland. The participants looked at the two shattered magic stones of life in shock. That means both members are dead. It was Lucian and Catalina. But who can kill them with 8-star strength? The last traces remain on the outskirts of the city of Ludi. But no clues could be found at the scene. This means that the enemy is either far superior to him. Either that, or a powerful owner of the dark element. The only one who can kill them in Ludi City is Dean Quest. But he is not a secret murderer. There are others. One of them immediately pointed out. There is only one dark attribute freshman in the Royal Academy. It was also born from the mouth of a demon dragon. There has also been a steady stream of recent assassinations of important members of the organization. First of all, Reynard, who provided the blood of demons on the front line. Later, there was Chickman Abs, who provided deals and financial support. Now, even the two important dragons in the organization are dead. It's hard not to doubt. There's a connection. There is no room for error. His granddaughter, Luna, can be arranged to enter the Royal Academy to investigate. The situation in this new continent is turbulent. But there were 2 years of tranquility in the Royal Academy. 2 years later, on the streets of the city of Ludi walked a woman in plain clothes. Although it has been tried not to attract attention, but the long sky-blue hair and the deep eyes of Hulan. The peerless appearance still makes passers-by frequently look sideways. It turned out to be Alice's return from a school trip, but he came to the principal's office first. It turned out that after knowing Alice's intention to join the Knight of Light, the headmaster may have sensed Alice's tragic end. After urging him to take a break from school, then decide where you want to go. At this moment, Alice returned from the territory of the White Elves, Fry. It wasn't a human-friendly race. Even Alice took a year to get used to. Since the principal said it, there will be a hindrance to Alice's growth. Instead, he wanted to go there even more. In this way, the pacifism found is more meaningful. At this time, he was even more determined to join the Knight of Light. Dean asks if he has decided to live for his family's wishes. She just smiled. Some responsibilities have to be taken on after all, and I'm worried about my siblings. Krantz, though naughty, but if you teach well, you could be a good person. But the youngest brother is too shy. Let him be reassured all the time. Hear this. The headmaster burst out laughing. He doesn't bully people. I'm already thankful. I heard something interesting. At this time, another voice also sounded in the room. Interesting. Mr. Dean is really harsh. Alice looked back in surprise. But I saw my younger brother after 2 years of separation. It already has the appearance of a slender body. I smiled and greeted. Long time no see. Sister, I've always missed you. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly. My sister knows that our brothers don't get along well. But I didn't expect that I wouldn't go home for 2 years. I don't know that my family is living now. I want to kill my brother and stepmother at any time. 2 years have passed like water. Alice was amazed at the change in me. You're growing so tall now. It's going to overtake me soon. I said calmly. Maybe you've gotten shorter. Maybe. This sentence successfully aroused Alice's hands and feet. But then he asked worriedly, it's summer vacation now. Why stay in the academy and not go home? In fact, there are many reasons why I don't want to go home. Not to mention, Asher is staying at home now. Even the Duchess wanted to kill me quickly. And the bizarre deaths of the 6 ultimate knights she instigated. It is impossible for my father not to know about it until now. But he chose to ignore it. Back to that kind of family. It's tantamount to suicide. Alice only thought I was afraid. I've been bullying my little brother Krantz. Can't you be friends? It's impossible. You've seen how he treats me too. And he even tried to kill me. Alice's eyes widened in disbelief. He didn't know the 2 younger brothers he cherished. I thought it was just an encounter between children. The truth is that flesh and blood are fratricidal. At this point, Brian stepped forward and said, he can testify to this. It was Mrs. Margaret who directed the assassination of me. Wait until Brian has won everything. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you had been wronged so much. It's not your fault. The bad guys are Margaret and Krantz. And it seems that he still does not repent. I'm not done yet. Alice threw herself into my arms. Have you never told anyone about these things? It's not easy to hold your grievances in your stomach. But you can count on my sister to protect you at this time. This warmth and trust. In the family. Only Alice has ever given it to me. At this point, I was clumsy and didn't know how to react. I'd like to stay with you a little longer, but I have to go somewhere and take care of yourself now. In Alice's words, shut me down again. But what I didn't expect, the next second, he threw himself into Brian's arms. Please take care of my brother too. May I? I looked into Brian's eyes at this moment. It's like killing someone. Alice must have been the one who got me out of that assassination. Identified as this so-called guardian knight. Just say goodbye to Alice again. But I'm already starting to miss the time I spent with him. It's been a long time since I've seen her so angry. The last time I did this was in my sword training class with Krantz. After I conceded defeat in the written test, Krantz is still attacking. The pleasure of humiliating him has never been about winning. It's about bullying the weak. Alice, who arrived in time, stopped the farce. I've only seen her angry face once in my previous life. Now he already knew the truth about the Duke's palace. It seems that it is impossible for the family to continue to be peaceful. But that's the only way to do it. I can protect her, spared from the tragic end of a previous life. At this time, Brian brought the evolution list and a banquet invitation. This time of year, banquets are held by the royal family. The Werther family is a frequent visitor. Generally, it will only be sent to the father. The Duke then appointed his heirs to participate. In my previous life, I had never enjoyed this kind of treatment. But think about it. It will only be a boring political co-optation. I just put it aside, pick up the assassination warrant directly. And Phyllis of Drenny is the younger brother of the current empress. This assassination took place at a royal banquet. It was also a big deal in a previous life. I didn't expect this task to be assigned to me now. It seems that Celica really thinks highly of me in this life. But it kind of irritated me. On the other hand, Kareem suddenly became interested in the invitation, and so on. The signature at the bottom seems to be Princess Irene. I thought you were just a kid, but I seem to be underestimating you. You've received a love letter, and it was exactly as he said. This invitation is not in the name of the royal. It's a personal invitation from Aaron. The handwriting is delicate and serious. But I still didn't show any mercy to Kareem with the control charm. It looks like this banquet is going to be gone. At this time, Nana's voice shouting hunger came from the inner hall. But only the first glimpse of her. Just let a few of us stand on the spot. Although, as the saying goes, if a child is not careful, he will grow up very quickly. But can anyone tell me why it grows so fast? And inside the ducal mansion of villas, Alice strode in hurriedly. The servants had never seen such an anxious young lady. They were stunned and saluted. But Alice only cares about her mother. Where is the Duchess now? By the time Alice rushed into Madame's room, Margaret hurriedly greeted her. Long time no see. How is Alice doing lately? My daughter. But Alice ignored it. Lunged, stepped forward, slapped Margaret directly in the face. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue to be exciting. The elder sister is blood suppression to the younger brother. But it's not much better to protect yourself. Alice's slap officially announced the break with her stepmother. Margaret was stunned by the end of class. Are you crazy? Guards, are you all eating dry food? His attitude towards Alice has always been kind. And Alice's personality is straightforward. No guesswork. Even Headmaster Dean treats him as his own. In Margaret's heart, I'm a bastard with a dark and hateful personality. Just a maggot that should have been crushed to death. But Alice is a young eagle who has already shown her grandeur. He categorically had no reason to provoke. I couldn't help but get a slap in the face. At the moment he looked innocent. But Alice's next sentence unravels his confusion. Hello, Bold. He wanted to kill my brother. How did he know? Margaret panicked and denied the nonsense. Do you have proof? Just to see the Duchess so out of shape. Alice had already confirmed her suspicions. Your performance just proved to be a testament to me. Since what you want is evidence, that means it must be true. Margaret was annoyed. Bastard, you dare to attack me without proof. Guards, what are you waiting for? Get her out. Get more accurate orders from the Duchess. The guards could no longer do anything. I had to apologize to the eldest lady. Then they swarmed up, but Alice turned over one by one. After dodging the capture, the brilliant water element appears out of thin air. Elemental Soul. The water elves easily break through the encirclement like a finger. It turned out to be spiritual magic. How could he easily defeat so many knights? Margaret was only then alarmed. Don't come over. What exactly do you want to do? Alice said word by word. Guardian Knight Brian has confessed everything. He only thinks that you are the real murderer behind the assassination of his brother 2 years ago. You think he's silent. Will you be able to get away with it? Margaret was still stiff-mouthed. You are willing to believe the words of those who are inferior. Not my bastard. It's just a meager glimmer of blood. Are you crazy? Shut up for him. Alice snapped in. Your power comes only from being dependent on others. I'm going to tell my father about it now. You're done. Margaret. Oz's looked at Alice's back as she left. Margaret smiled quietly. This fool has been through so much. He hadn't seen it yet. Duke William was simply indifferent to this rootless heir. All he really cared about was the glory of his family, and the eldest son, whom he regarded as the heir to the family. When Alice stepped into the Duke's study, the Duke only replied lightly, I've known this for a long time. So what do you want to do? Alice looked at her father in a daze. Your own children were assassinated. Just unmoved. I don't want to explain anything about that. Now it seems that the results are good, isn't it? But those were the 6 ultimate knights. If not for his guardian knight Brian, the already Duke couldn't help but chuckle. Do you mean that fool? Do you really think that you can solve the 6 ultimate knights with him? He's just an errand handyman. It was only then that Alice captured the point of the Duke's words. So you're saying that all 6 knights were killed by my brother. It looks like you don't know anything about him. It's better to let go of these first. How I want to return to the barracks at the front. You will bring me to the invitation to this royal banquet. Don't worry about your brother. He's stronger than you think. Look at the back of the Duke leaving. Alice was stunned. He always felt that his father's logic was very problematic. But he clearly did not want to be held accountable for the incident. Don't worry about her. But she was only 13 years old. Alice was sullen late in the hallway. But the sudden appearance of a person made his eyes shine. Is that you? Cecilia. Cordial greetings from Cecilia. Welcome home. Alice couldn't help herself in the next second and threw herself into Alice's arms. Where have you been? In the past few years, I have not even sent a letter. Alice could only apologize. Cecilia Ryan is a high-ranking knight of the Knights of Light. But for Alice, it's more than that. She is his exclusive maid. Teachers and friends are fine. Let's go out together and breathe. Take a walk around the palace. What do you think? And on the other side of the long journey, Nana was dressed as a maid. Fuss over everything you see. Wow, look at a deer. I was speechless as he made the noise. Nana, tuck your tail away. Hear my commands. Nana reluctantly unleashed her magic. The tail, wings, and feet are all hidden. I didn't expect him to awaken this ability when he grew up. It's much safer to walk around with her outside now. But I only dare to think about it. You haven't forgotten what we said before. Nana was full of promises. Of course, I'm a young master. The most intimate and lovely maid. Nana saw her behave like this too. My worries have only deepened. Oh no, she's too excited. I always felt like she was going to cause trouble again. At this time, the carriage suddenly stopped in the middle of the road. I pushed the window. See just a few robbers blocking the way. Even the opening words are the same. Hey, leave everything behind. No big deal. Solve them as soon as possible. I sat firmly in the carriage again. Continuous training and a once-in-a-lifetime all-dragon feast. Brian's strength at this time has long since changed. Just a few annoying bugs. It will be solved very quickly. Brian leaps into the bandits. The long sword in his hand is still in a no-man's land. Fly between ups and downs. The head of the bandit has been beheaded under his horse. Siege the robbers. Suddenly, the blood will be opened. Rise up in groups. Blade slashes the long sword. The speed is surging again. Between long arms stretched. Then pick everyone down one by one. Deal with these unarmored props. The speed advantage of the wind attribute can simply be called invincible. Weak Brian is no longer weak. He did grow. After the fight, I hurried back to drive. I don't have time to give you a concave shape. Okay, young master. This comes when Celica issues an assassination mission. It's stuck. It's so time-sensitive. And he was also studying the list of attendees at the royal banquet at this time. Men persuade. There were too many people coming to the banquet this time. Hall Master, are you really not thinking about postponing the assassination mission? Why be in such a hurry? It doesn't have to be as fast as possible. Celica's voice was grim. Drenian's behavior was disgusting. He used his power, specialized in raping married women. So she deserves it. But there is one more reason why she must die as soon as possible. Because she's my fiancée. It's strange that this kid is also here. Luna, a genius mage with 20% of all attributes. However, he was too weak to attend classes normally. Another identity of hers. But she is the granddaughter of the president of the Gaza Magical Society. The child has been recuperating at home for health reasons. Never made a public appearance. But now it's on the banquet list. It's a little unusual to think about it. Celica had some bad premonitions in her heart. That thoughtful old immortal. There must be something secretly planned again. On the other side, I hurried for days. Our group finally stepped into the streets of the Imperial City. Luckily, I wasn't late. The city is noticeably more bustling. The streets are also wider. Nana's little face was full of excitement at the moment. But she got carried away and ran into a passerby head-on. Passersby were immediately furious. I'm blind. I can't walk with long eyes. Nana apologized aggrieved. I'm sorry. What can I do to make up for this? It was only then that she could see Nana's face. Immediately blushed. Haha, it's okay, it's okay. Like the words. You can bump a few more times. Nana immediately turned her head and yelled at me. Father, you see these people are so friendly. I'm covered in black lines. He's not being friendly. You stay away from that second cargo. I almost forgot that he knew too little about the world. He had to watch out. Others, this is terrible. Especially beware of the yellow-haired and yellow-haired Brian. At this moment, he suddenly said, Young master, look. Nana's eyes are bad. Her pupils couldn't sustain the change. His hungry nature caused him to exude a strong aura. Brian took her to the nearest hotel. It is said that half-grown children eat Lao Tzu. With an increase in size, Nana's appetite has doubled. Luckily, I brought a lot of money with me before I left. If it weren't for Princess Irene's support and the Fog Shadow assassination bonus, I'm afraid I'm already bankrupt. I was speechless. It's really hard to raise a small child. But the next second, a strange energy entered my perceptual range. A crisp blue-haired girl walked into my side. Hello. I wanted to get to know you for a long time. She knows me. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly. Women dressed up to attend royal banquets. But I knew that a bloody massacre was coming. This is a stage where women compete in duels. Secretly, it is a dueling ground between men chasing power. Fourth, it is arranged by some kind of fate. This year's royal banquet was particularly lively. The president of the Magic Association, who has been absent repeatedly in previous years. He also sent his own granddaughter to participate. They found me when I first arrived in the Imperial City. You know me. I have no impression of him. But he knew it himself. Directly sat next to me. I'm in the same college as you. But I'm a second grader. I heard him report to his home. I'm just familiar with the name Luna. You still haven't answered my question. And I've never been interested in students in different grades. He took the lead. Actually, that's pretty good, compared to a well-known Academy star like you. I can only be counted as a lonely person. Looks like you have a good relationship with the guardian knight and the maid. I even ate at the same table with them. It turns out that you are still such a gentle person. This is not the same as the rumors. Nana and Brian heard it mentioned. I couldn't help but doubt his identity, because I don't look like I'm a friend. It's also difficult to search his intestines and scrape his stomach, only to find such an inexplicable compliment. I'm already getting a little irritable. It was only then that he finally revealed his true intentions. Are you also here for the royal banquet? Yes, how do you know? A man who had never been out of the academy suddenly came to the imperial city. Could there be other reasons? It just so happened that I was among those invited. We'll see you then. That's it for the self-introduction. It's a shame I had to leave first. Please remember my full name is Luna Hugo. I finally remembered. The Hugo family, a prominent among the aristocracy. She is the granddaughter of Regan Hugo, the president of the Gallon Magical Society. The crazy old man had sent him to the banquet. In a past life, he died young in his sophomore year at the college. I'm not sure if that's true, due to his frailty. Or is it because the Magical Guild has done some intense human experiments on him? In this life, I kept coming across those who were in past lives. Someone who has never crossed paths with me. This means the future is constantly changing because of my existence. But why did all this happen during the royal feast? In the hereafter, this banquet is called the Blood Banquet. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as a river of blood. And at this time in this banquet, another future protagonist is struggling with which to wear. Aaron was in the middle of it at this point, a 13-year-old who has just become interested in beauty. It is also in the awkward adolescence of the view of the people who belong to the heart. How about this dress? Lexi immediately praised with both hands. You look so beautiful. This dress is the most beautiful I have ever seen. Aaron ignored her, casually put the clothes aside again. No, I don't think it's a bit of a thing. Lexi wanted to cry without tears. You've tried on so many clothes. Please let me go. Who can let me go? This can only be a killer feature. I'm sure that young master will like this one too. Aaron's face immediately flushed with you. What are you talking about? Where can he see me? Lexi couldn't help but complain secretly. Obviously, you secretly sent him an invitation. Don't play dumb. Aaron panicked again and denied it. But the words have become incoherent. At this time, the maid presented a delicate gift box. It was a gift from His Royal Highness Leonard. She said you wear it at the dinner party. It's sure to add a lot of color to your beauty. There was also a hint of surprise on Aaron's face at this time. It turned out to be the estranged royal brother. It's so beautiful. I'm sure the young master will like it too. Shut up. I didn't tell you. I don't like her. The banquet slowly opened. I was left alone in the corner searching for the target of this assassination. He still hasn't shown up, but it was Kylan who came to me first. If Kaylin, you're here, that means Asher must be here. Kaylin confirmed my guess. Asher was with the first Prince Linnell at this time, but he ventured to meet me. But there are more important reasons. Ackle had ordered Kylan to leave the palace before the feast began, and also said that he had prepared a small event for the banquet. This made a bad feeling rise in Kylan's heart, so he begged me to leave the palace together. The shadow personality took possession of his heart. He was more worried about my safety at this time. I took his admonition, but he still insisted on staying at the banquet. Could it be that the mastermind behind the bloody banquet turned out to be Asher? This bastard. He was even crazier than I thought. Kareem asked me with interest at this point, "Why are you worried about the lives of these innocent people?" I just think things are getting more interesting. But anyway, the assassination mission can now only be postponed. I locked the heart of Celica in the crowd. Affects the use of elemental power. Fluctuations after leveling. So that we can communicate in secret. Church Master, This dress of yours fits perfectly. But I have to say, this evolutionary mission needs to be postponed for a while, because I just received the information. The banquet hall was about to turn into a sea of blood. Celica's face immediately changed drastically. Is the message reliable? I know very well who is behind this incident. If it was just a gut feeling. Now I'm pretty sure I'm running out of time. I'll explain it slowly later. But now we have to check it out. See if there are any monsters around. But there's good news. Evolutionary goals. That is, your fiancé will also die. In this attack, Celica immediately changed color. How did you know she was my fiancé? And when you have to ask, but I had already turned away. At this moment, another voice sounded behind her. Teacher Celica. Could it be Alice? Two people dressed in costumes. At this time, it undoubtedly became the focus of the banquet. Alice excitedly stepped forward to greet her. But Celica only felt that the timing was terrible. The attack did not know when it would begin. But at this time, Alice was also at the banquet. Why are you here? I'm just here to get some fresh air. Again, this is also my responsibility as the eldest daughter. There is more indication of Celica. Another abrupt voice broke the names of the two men. Look at my dear fiancé, and this charming young lady Alice. I felt like I saw two walking flowers, rising in Rika's heart. Bad premonition. Damn, it's already a mess. I didn't expect to meet him here. Visitors bow like gentlemen, but the eyes are already full of presumptuousness. Drinieri and Phyllis was the target of the mission. After separating from Celica, I found Brian. Do me one thing. Brian saluted solemnly. I, Brian Kendrake, will carry out any orders. His reaction left me feeling black lines all over my head. Ever since Brian's strength has increased, he's a little fluttery. Correct? It's because he feels like himself. Is it finally a guardian knight worthy of the name? Don't do it. It's too embarrassing to forget it. At this time, I said that I would not listen. Check out the underground passages of the palace. He immediately showed timidity. It was too dark in that place. Said yes. Timid for a second. Just go. I have my reasons. Brian said yes again. But the conversation changed again. Young master, there is a sneaky person behind you. Before I could say anything, Brian had already rushed over. The young master waited for me to take him down. Look at the figure and the familiar aura that appears behind him. How could she be here? And at this time, in the underground cloister, a cloaked figure appears in the dungeon. Time's up. My subordinate stood up. Thank you for liking, following, and supporting. The next issue will continue excitingly.